In 1980, a political scientist named Robert Axelrod ran a very strange competition. He invited game theorists, economists, mathematicians, and computer scientists to write programs that would fight each other in the most famous game ever invented, the prisoner's dilemma. Every program played every other program, 200 rounds at a time. And when the dust settled, the winner was 4 lines of code. 4 lines. The shortest program in the entire tournament. It didn't even come from a game theorist. It came from a psychologist named Anatole Rappaport. And here's the part that still makes people uncomfortable. The winning strategy was nice. It never struck first. It never held a grudge. And it systematically destroyed every backstabbing, 1,000-line mastermind it faced. Today, we're going to rebuild that tournament with 1,000 little agents, fast-forwarded across hundreds of generations, and find out why niceness is one of the most powerful strategies ever discovered, and the one situation where it completely falls apart. Forget the prison story for a second. Here is the game in its purest form. 2 players, each secretly picks cooperate or defect. If you both cooperate, you both get 3 points. If you both defect, you both get 1. But if you defect while your partner cooperates, you get 5, and they get nothing. 5 for temptation, 3 for reward, 1 for punishment, 0 for the sucker. Now play this game exactly once. What should you do? Well, no matter what the other player does, defecting scores you more. If they cooperate, defecting gets you 5 instead of 3. If they defect, defecting gets you 1 instead of 0. Game theory has a cold, clean answer. Always defect. And so 2 perfectly rational players end up locked at 1 point each, when 3 points were sitting right there. That's the dilemma. Rationality, chasing its own tail. But here's the thing. You don't live your life in one-shot games. You see the same colleagues every morning. You buy coffee from the same barista. You share a fence with the same neighbor for 20 years. Real life is the same game, played on loop. And Axelrod's question was deceptively simple. In a repeated game, what strategy actually wins? So here's our arena. On your screen, 1,000 agents check the legend, bottom left. Each squircle is 1 player. Cyan means this agent just cooperated. Amber means it just defected. And every agent carries one of the 14 strategies from Axelrod's real tournament, plus 1 wild card that flips a coin every round. Meet the cast. The saint always cooperates, no matter what. The shark always defects, no matter what. The grudge cooperates until you cross it once, and then it defects forever. There are Bayesian guessers that build statistical models of you, a strategy that cooperates but sneaks in an occasional defection to test you, and several genuinely nasty pieces of work. And then there is Rappaport's 4 lines, tit for tat. Cooperate on the first move. After that, copy whatever your opponent did last round. That's it. That is the entire program. You might object that 4 lines can't really be a strategy. It doesn't model its opponent. It doesn't plan ahead. It doesn't even try to win. Hold that thought. Round robin. Every strategy plays every other strategy, 200 rounds per match. Watch the leaderboard, top right. In the early matches, the shark is feasting 5 points a round off every saint it meets. But watch what happens when sharks meet sharks. 1 point each, round after round. A miserable income. The grudge keeps falling into wars it can't end. And quietly, match by match, the 4-liner climbs the table. Final result, same as 1,980. Tit for tat finishes first. And here's the detail I find genuinely beautiful. Look at the top of the table. Every single high-scoring strategy is nice. None of them ever defects first. The nasty strategies, the schemers, the 1,000-line masterminds, they cluster at the bottom, feeding on each other. And look even closer at tit for tat's match record. It never actually wins a match. Against the saint, it draws. 3 points a round forever. Against the shark, it loses, but barely. It gives up 1 free defection, then copies defection back, capping its losses. It wins the whole tournament without winning a single fight, because winning fights was never the point. Tit for tat collects thousands of boring, stable, 3-point rounds. Axelrod's own summary. It wasn't trying to beat its opponents, it was trying to elicit cooperation. Then Axelrod did it again. He published the results, invited the whole world to a second tournament, got 62 entries from 6 countries, including strategies designed specifically to kill tit for tat. It won again. Its 4 superpowers, in Axelrod's analysis. Be nice, never defect first. Be retaliatory, punish instantly, so you can't be exploited. Be forgiving the moment they cooperate, you cooperate. And be clear, so simple that opponents can learn you and settle into mutual trust. Now the part where our simulation really earns its keep. Axelrod asked. What if strategies reproduce? Your tournament score becomes your number of offspring. Losers die out. Winners copy themselves. 1,000 agents, generation after generation, watch the dish. First 10 generations, a bloodbath. The sharks feast on the saints, and the defection rate spikes to nearly 80%. The whole dish turns amber. By generation 15, the saints are functionally extinct. And then something strange happens. The sharks begin to starve. A shark surrounded by sharks earns 1 point a round. It's a miserable life, and miserable lives don't reproduce. Meanwhile, look at the edges of the dish. Little islands of tit-for-tat players are trading 3 points every single round with each other. You can literally watch the cyan clusters growing, one ring of neighbors at a time, eating into the amber sea. By generation 100, cooperation is back above 60%. By generation 300, it's over 75. Cooperation didn't win because the agents were good. It won because cooperators found each other, and a cluster of cooperators is nearly bulletproof. You might object. That's a computer fantasy. Real life has misunderstandings. You are absolutely right. And that's where everything breaks. Let's add 1% noise. 1% of the time, a cooperation gets misread as a defection, a garbled message, a bad day. Watch these two tit-for-tat players. One misread signal, and they lock into a revenge spiral. You defected, so I defect, so you defect. An echo of retaliation that never, ever stops. Across the whole dish, cooperation collapses from 75% to under 20. Niceness, it turns out, is fragile if you never forgive. So what survives noise? Two famous answers. In 1992, Martin Nowak and Sigmund described generous tit for tat. It retaliates, but forgives about 1 defection in 10. And in 1993, they introduced Pavlov win-stay, lose shift. If your last move scored well, repeat it. If it scored badly, switch. Under noise, both of them beat plain tit for tat. Rerun our dish with 1% noise, and generous tit for tat in the gene pool. And cooperation recovers to around 85%. The revenge spirals burn out before they can spread, so the final rule writes itself. Be nice, retaliate, but always leave the door open. Revenge without forgiveness is just slow-motion suicide. And this is not abstract math. In the trenches of the First World War, historians documented something extraordinary. Long stretches of the front, where enemies quietly stopped trying to kill each other. British and German units developed live and let live. Truce's restraint answered with restraint. Violation answered with proportional violation. Snipers firing at the same empty spot every morning to prove they could have hit you, and chose not to. No orders. No treaties. Axelrod devoted a full chapter of the evolution of cooperation to it, because it is tit for tat, played by humans with guns. And notice when those truces collapsed. When units got rotated. When soldiers stopped expecting to face the same enemy tomorrow when the shadow of the future got short. That is the deep law, hiding in all of today's data. Cooperation isn't about morality. It's about time horizons. Repeat the game, make tomorrow matter, and niceness stops being a weakness. It becomes math. We've put this entire arena on the web link in the description. 1,000 agents, every strategy you just saw, plus the sliders this video couldn't give you. Noise level, mutation rate, how long the future lasts. Build your own strategy, and see if it can dethrone the 4 lines. Under noise, you actually might. And if this kind of toy society experiment is your thing, next week we give 1,000 herders 1 shared field, and we watch them destroy it politely, rationally, 1 cow at a time. The tragedy of the commons. See you inside the dish.